or rather, we're gonna stop like about right. Uh, we're just gonna read a little bit, and when the spirit has me stop, then that's gonna be it. It says monastic styles. Both men and women. That's a good word to look up too. Monastic. Both men, yeah, brother, can look that up. Both men and women traditionally had their hair cut or removed in specific ways when they entered a monastery or convent. These haircuts symbolize religious devotion, group identity, and humility, as well as the renunciation of worldly things and personal vanity. That's basically what somebody that was a monastic was. They basically like renounced worldly stuff. They lived a monastic life. The practice may relate to you can read more into it. The practice may relate to ancient rites in which people in various cultures offered their hair as a religious sacrifice, which the Egyptians did and the Canaanites did. But that's another show to get into the Canaanites. Monks and nuns also take a vow of celibacy. That ain't even in the Bible. Like when they say a priest ain't supposed to have no wife. You know, the scripture tells you in Leviticus 21. It's somewhere in Leviticus. You don't gotta get it. It tells you a priest supposed to have one wife. A priest's wife is supposed to be a virgin. That's why in Corinthians Paul said, "I espouse you as a chaste virgin to Yahweh Shah." We're like a chaste virgin to Yahweh Shah. He's married us unto him. He's out like our husband. We're like his wife. We're supposed to be like a virgin wife to Yahweh Shah, who is a priest, right? See how it goes right hand in hand with the law? It says monks and nuns also take a vow of celibacy, and hair has historically been associated with eroticism and sexuality as a means to attract the opposite sex. Historians say the monastic hairstyles also may relate to the ancient custom of shaving the heads of male slaves. Some early monks who began shaving their heads voluntarily referred to themselves as slaves of Christ. That's not in the Bible. Such hairstyles thus would show that a person entering religious life intends to subordinate his own will to the will of the Most High. Groups of certain men began to form organized religious committees during the second and third centuries. These men, who became known as monks, lived apart from other people and developed distinctive modes of dress and appearance. Some monks cut their hair short, while others shaved it off completely, or shaved part of their head. Partial shaving may have its origins in ancient Egypt. See that? Remember how we just read that? How they shaved the top of your head? In ancient Egypt, Greece, and other places where men shaved the circular bald spot on the top of their heads to honor the sun god, Ra. We read that in the last document too. Some orders of monks who left a narrow crown of hair around their heads said that this signified the crown of thorns placed on Yahushua's head during his resurrection. During his crucifixion. I'm gonna say this: them Romans was keeping pagan customs. Like the Romans says, we have a custom about releasing the prisoner and all of that. You can look that up. That goes into ancient Babylonian customs. But that's a whole nother thing. You know, that's a whole nother thing. We'll spend a lot of time talking about that. Let's jump into this. This is the apple of God's eye. It says it says well, this is the same exact thing we read before. Y'all brothers could pause it and read this on your own. I'm not gonna read it. You basically read that on the other thing, so I'm not gonna read that. I could pause it and read it on your own. It says the same thing. Now we'll end it off right here. You can hold 17 and 1. Deuteronomy 17 and 1. I'm not gonna read this whole thing. It says halos in Western art, horrors to Jesus Christ to the X-Men. Zoom in a little bit. Should be about 4 or 5 more minutes and we should be out of here. The halo motif has been used in Western art for thousands of years. A halo, also called a nimbus or aureole, is a circular ring of light surrounding the head of a deity or saint. Like all religious motifs, the halo has gone through periods of popularity and episodes of stagnancy, and its peak during the Egyptian, but during the Egyptian and Christian epochs, the halo is currently out of vogue in Western culture, its main role having been reduced to Halloween costumes of angels and Sunday school pageants. This decline in use has been, it's all paganism. This world is all pagan, man. So the most I gotta get rid of this damn place. Get Micah the first chapter, which says he's gonna get rid of their images. This decline in use has been partially compensated by its incorporation into pop culture. This has not been a sudden shift. Use of the halo in religious art has been steadily declining for a few hundred years now. The exploration of the rise and fall of the halo in culture is interesting not only because it illustrates how artists adopt and then dispose of symbols, but even more importantly, about 1 to 7, something like that. But even more importantly, how Western values have changed over the last 1,000 years. All my research has been done on the internet. Jump right down to it because the person just keeps talking. You got it?
Hold on,
It says something about the idol going to perish. Yes, that's Malachi, Micah. Jump right down to Egypt, because that's what we're focusing on. Egyptian halos. Though the halo was traditionally associated with Christianity, its beginning can be found long before they have Christ here, whose name is Yahushua, was born. Use of halos, read that real quick.
This is Micah 1 verse 7. And all the graven images thereof shall be beaten to pieces, and all the hires thereof shall be burnt with the fire, and all the idols.
Sorry, a little faster.
And all the idols thereof will I lay desolate, for she gathered it of the hire of an harlot, and they shall return to the hire of an harlot.
Right, so it said them graven images gonna be beaten to pieces, man. So all these different gods and all these pagan symbols and all that's gonna be torn down. These obelisks, these Babylonian sun discs, which really what this all goes back to, really. You know, because Babylon was the first kingdom. But we focusing mainly on Egypt. It's all gonna be broken down with how Shah come back. Use of halos seems to have existed hand in hand with Egyptian sun and animal worship. Cults have worship bulls. I'm sorry. It says cults have worshipped bulls. Cults that have worshipped bulls have been traced back to as far as 3000 BC. The Apis bull demonstrates early use of halo-like symbol. You see that right here? There's halo right there. See that? See that right here? See that? You know? Hold that scripture 17 and 3. 17 and 3. Deuteronomy 17 and 3. Proofread. See if you can start from 1.
Okay.
No, you can start from 2. I'm going to read a little bit more. It says, Egyptians' halos, usually depicted as a large sun-colored sphere. See? Sun. Read that. Start from verse 2.
Deuteronomy 17 and 2. If there be found among you within any of thy gates, which the Lord thy power giveth thee, man or woman, that have wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy power, in transgressing his covenant, and have gone and served other gods, and worshipped them, either the sun or moon.
Even the sun or moon, because the Egyptians were shaving the top of their hair off the hair of the crown of their head and worship the sun god Ra. And we even show Apis the bull. Go ahead. They're worshiping the sun. Those that circular shape represents the sun. Go ahead.
Either the sun or moon or any of the hosts of heaven, which I have not commanded.
So the Most High did not command you to worship the sun, the moon, or any of the hosts of heaven. One more, Deuteronomy 4 and 17. Okay. There's another one I want to get in the Apocrypha. I'm not going to get it. I'll probably put it up in post-production 4:19.
Yeah. Deuteronomy 4.
It tells you you're supposed to worship the one who created all these things. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 4:19. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldest be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy power hath divided unto all nations under the whole heaven.
So the Most High said, don't do it. Because when we read up a little bit, I'm going to read verse 15 and 16. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner of similitude on the day that the Lord spake unto you in Horeb out of the midst of the fire. It says, lest you corrupt yourselves and make you a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of any of male or female. Then it speaks about beasts, creeping things, fish, and then it says, lest you lift up your eyes to the heavens. One more scripture, then we're going to continue reading and we're going to close on that. Deuteronomy 10 and 2, Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 and 2. And then we'll finish reading that, and then we're going to close.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 and 2 says, Hear ye the word of the Lord, hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Thus house of Israel. Sound like you're speaking Arabic for a second. You speaking Arabic over there? No, go ahead.
Read it again. Jeremiah 10 verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
Yeah, don't be dismayed at the signs of heaven, the sun, the moon, the stars, and worship them, man. Sound like you were speaking Arabic over there. You know? Thought you had the spirit came down in the form of cloven tongues. You know? It could fit like Acts 2nd chapter. Let me continue. It says, Egyptian halos, usually depicted as a large sun-colored sphere, are different from our modern-day conception of the halo. A halo ring hovering above an angel's head. Egyptian art is filled with halos, and finding symbols of them is not difficult. The picture on the left is of the Egyptian sun god Ra. See right here down here? Ra, believed to be self-created and the father of all gods. Ra was associated with the sun. In the middle is the lion-headed Sekhmet, a deity who was sent forth to chastise mankind when they neglected to honor the gods. Halos are, see halo over his head? Okay. Halos are handy ways to differentiate deities from ordinary mortals in art. Note the lack of a halo above the two attendees standing in front of Sekhmet, Buto the Cobra goddess, as a deity of Lower Egypt. See that? These fucking Egyptians was fucking sun worshippers, man. You know? Says Frederick Goodman in his book Magical Symbols, the halo, which is ultimately derived from the magical symbolism of Egyptians, is like a sun. See? And symbolically speaking, may be considered to be the equivalent of a small and radiant sun streaming full spiritual light. So they was worshiping the sun, these dumb fucking assholes. You know? Let's end it over Psalms 96 and 5. That's how you read this right here. You read about the haircuts they had. You know? So see that circular shape over their head, which represents the sun disk? We read right here, it says, there was a ritual custom of the heathen to cut or trim their beards and hair into special shapes in honor of a particular pagan deity. To honor the sun god Ra, the Egyptians had their locks cropped short or shaven with great care so that the hair remained on the crown appeared in the form of a circle surrounding the head, from which the halo derives, to worship their pagan deities. That's what you see right here on the top of the head. Then you see it in all these different pictures. So what more proof do you need? This is historical proof of what the hell the Egyptians was doing. Historical proof and how the Most High told us don't do it. So if we have the Bible plagiarized from Egypt, why the hell is the Most High telling us don't do what the damn Egyptians do? Let's end it with Psalms 96 and 5, because there's a historical background to these scriptures.
Psalms 96 verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord made the heavens.
There you go. So with that, hope you brothers learned something. All praise to Yahweh Shemel Shah. Double honors to the elders of GMS. Shalom to you brothers out there. And Lord willing, see you next time. Shalom.
Shalom.